Hello everyone! So I'm so happy to be back and to do this video. Today I will be talking about the challenges and the hardships of putting on weight. Not just putting on weight, but the whole process of going all in. And also some remedies towards those different challenges. So as much as there are some absolutely great things that happen when you go all in, mentally and physically, there are some harder ones as well, for sure. I mean, with any change, there's some good and some bad, and I don't even consider it bad. I think it's just adjustments that need to be made. So I would say the first thing that I can remember that was the hardest was self-doubt. And what I mean by that is that once you go all in, you know, week 1, week 2, week 3, it's all good and you only see the positive. But then when you really start seeing weight being put on for real, that starts getting difficult mentally. And also it's kind of like when you leave a relationship, you're so used to doing, you know, exercising and eating well with restrictions and times and things you didn't usually eat, and all these different set of rules that you kind of forget a month in why you started in the first place. So it's like when you're in a relationship, you forget why you left that person in the first place, because we tend to glorify, and as a coping mechanism, our body likes to forget the ugly side of things, and we forget all of the hardships and the reason why we actually went all in the first place. So I remember that in the beginning I found it difficult because sometimes I would look at myself in the mirror and I looked so different that I was like, what the hell am I doing? This is not right. And I wanted to kind of go back. And if you took that decision in the first place, this applies to a lot of things, it's for a good reason. If you had that instinct and that gut feeling that this is what you had to do, you have to stick to that, no matter how much you think you should go back to dieting. So a remedy to the self-doubt is I used to journal, and I still do from time to time. I do it really when I feel like it. I don't force myself to write, but if I really feel like it's difficult, I'll start writing. And I really highly recommend for anybody going all in to start journaling at the very beginning, because this is so useful down the line when you're doubting yourself. If you take that journal and you read those first entries and you explain your why, very clearly define what your why is, you'll read it, and even in a moment of doubt, you're like, that is why. It explains why I started this all-in journey and just reminds me, and I think that's really important. Another thing that I like to do when I'm in self-doubt is I like to watch YouTube videos. I'll watch videos of people on like the positives of putting on weight. I really like Kate Noel. She's really great and positive. Yeah, just watch videos that make me feel good in my skin, body positive videos. I try to unfollow accounts on Instagram that don't make me feel so great. I try to follow more body positive accounts, and I think that's really helped to make me just like put my head down and just eat and not work out when in self-doubt. Something else that has been so real recently has been edema. So for those that don't know, edema is basically water weight. Honestly, one of the things that I didn't expect would be so hard, and that has been very intense. I've mentioned this in some of my other videos as well, but edema in my face, edema in all my body, edema in my feet. Like when I work, I am standing for long hours, so my feet at the end of my shift were just killing me and like hurting, and so much water and retention and like tightness and really discomfort. So some of the remedies that I found that worked for me and that I really enjoy and that kind of helped me reduce that water weight, even though it is completely normal, please like be aware of that. It's your body just like responding, and we need to remember that our bodies are so much smarter than we are, and we keep on putting them through hell and back, but they know more than us what we need. It's always for your best interest. It wants to keep you alive. It wants to make you healthy again. So just trust the process. It's not so easy, but anyway. What has helped me for the edema and the water retention is ice rolling. I love this thing. I haven't, like I bought it like a while back, but I've only been using it like pretty regularly now since I really can tell a difference when I use it and when I don't. So I usually use this in the morning and I put it in the freezer, which is really great. I got this one for like 20. So I think you can find a really great jade roller or any kind of ice roller or gua sha stone. If you put it in the freezer, it feels so nice. So I like to like go on my face like this and then down my neck. I mean, there's tons of videos online. I am not an expert of this jade rolling thing, but I do enjoy it and it makes my skin just feel so much better. Not just my skin, but like the tightness and the puffiness in the morning. It's really nice and it makes me a little bit more confident. Another thing that I've been using, still in the same lines. Okay, this is an ice pack that I bought for my lunches and then I was like, that would be great. So I use this like around my face and I'll use it like on my eyes and my anywhere that I feel has like extra puffiness. So I really like leaving it on my neck in the morning. It just feels really good. It's really soothing. I also would put it on my ankles. So talking about my ankles and my feet, as I said, become super swollen, like literally tree trunks at night. And I've never experienced edema like this one. And so I ice them with the little blue icing that you saw. And also I'll elevate them completely against a wall or just like on a pillow. I would sleep with a pillow under my feet and that would really help diminish the swelling. And like taking very cold baths, and honestly with the warm weather here it hasn't helped the edema at all. So I would take like freezing baths, which actually like at first when you get in you're like, oh my god, this is so cold, but as soon as you get accustomed to it, it's very fine and it actually feels great and super relaxing. And since your body is using so much energy to make it warm again, you fall asleep like a baby straight after. So do it at night, it's really great. Also, dandelion root tea has been such a savior for edema. And I have posted a recipe on how I like making it recently. I like having it in the morning with a little bit of squeezed lemon in it, fresh lemon, of course. Otherwise, I've read that increasing your potassium intake is really great for edema. So once you up your potassium, it helps with all the salt that's kind of just like hanging around. I don't really want to reduce my salt intake because I find that that's just going to put myself a limit that I don't want to put myself. I'm really trying to be restriction and trying to be limit free. So taking out salt is not something I want to do. Instead of taking out things, I want to start implementing more things. So instead of taking out salt, I want to add in more potassium. So that's kind of the game plan for right now. Otherwise, apparently magnesium is really great. Once again, I'm not like an expert at this. I'm just someone that's been testing and trying things that have kind of worked for me. I know that beetroot juice has a lot of magnesium, a lot of potassium. There's coconut water, there's avocados. I mean, you can go on Google and write like foods that are high in magnesium and potassium. You're gonna find a ton there. Just buy what works for you. I know that there's also capsules and stuff. I'd rather have it in my food. I think that we metabolize it a lot better when it's actually in our food and like in its natural form rather than encapsulated. Another challenge that I've been having, which is kind of obvious, is the physical changes. So my growing body and putting on the weight. And it's, you know, some people deal with it better than others. I just try to see it as a positive thing. I'm trying to remind myself constantly that it's for my health, and you really want to like ingrain that in your brain when you're going through something that's really different. So what have I been doing to, you know, cope with the weight gain? All my clothes don't fit and I can only fit in like sweatpants, which makes me sound like the girl in Mean Girls, except mine is intentional. I bought new clothes. I think that's really, really crucial. It really sucks when you like try to look good in the morning and like nothing fits you. So try to get like a couple things that make you feel really good and comfortable. It doesn't need to be tight or anything. Like give yourself a chance, you know what I mean? Like let yourself grow and not feel confined by clothes or judged by clothes, because I know that kind of feels like that sometimes. Treat yourself to something that, you know, a shirt that you've seen for a while and that you never wanted to get, or, you know, just make yourself feel good. And I think this also goes hand in hand with another thing that I've been doing is more self-care, such as, you know, body positivity. Self-care can also just being like doing your hair and feeling pretty and just doing a little extra effort to really just feel good, and that Even though you're putting on weight, you're still beautiful. Another thing that I think is really important, if you're really having trouble physically, I know that I've had some breakdowns for sure. I think that I've been strong, but there has been some days where I feel insecure. But if you really need that extra help, you can go see a dietitian. Maybe they can help you kind of back up what you're doing, make sure that what you're doing is safe, that it's good for your body, considering your background and your eating habits and your workout routine. They're going to help you on a behavioral level. You can also see a psychologist that can help you with the mental aspect of it. So all these changes and like body positivity and all your concerns regarding like your self-worth. Also, you can see a doctor for your physical health. So as I said, dietitian for your behaviors, doctor for the physical health, and psychologist for your mental health. So depending on your situation, you can really resort to whatever suits your case and what you think would help you the most during this process. Otherwise, obviously, I don't think I need to mention it, but I will. You can always talk to a friend, talk to your friends, talk to your family about it, talk to your boyfriend about it. What helped me the most is telling people that I was going to put on weight. Before I started putting on weight, it just relieved me of a whole part of insecurity of what people would think. And I'm really blessed to have an amazing support system around me, friends and family. But I am going to see a dietitian myself because I feel like I can really benefit from that kind of support during this process. Another thing that I've been dealing with that isn't easy is comments. You will get comments from other people, whether that's a stranger, whether that's a family member, whether that's your little brother, whether that's your best friend. People don't understand and will never understand fully what you're going through, and that's okay, and I think that's important to acknowledge. So I've had a couple of rough comments. I don't think they were badly intentioned. I never think they are. I think people are curious. I think people want to make sure that you're fine. I think people sometimes are worried. Just keep in mind that these comments will come. Be ready for them. Try to like actually experience them. Like try to put those scenarios in your head. And so not only does it get easier to deal with it emotionally, the more comments you get, but also it gets easier to respond to that person. And what I found has been like the best answer to people has been that if they mention something about my weight, I'll just usually say that it's for, you know, health reasons, and I leave it at that. And like when people hear that it's for health reasons, which it is, they kind of become automatically empathetic and just take off all the judgments that they probably had 2 seconds prior. So, or not judgments necessarily, but you get what I'm saying. Thank you so much for listening. I truly appreciate it. And for anybody that sends me messages, it means so much to me and really makes me feel good and makes me want to continue to do these videos. So have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed.